up, though? Let some of this sun up in here. Let some of this sun. Oh. A little shoulder move. A little shoulder move on y'all. Had to do that. Little shoulder move. Little shoulder move. Applying for grad school. So I was just, hey. Okay, I'm sorry. So applying to grad school, here's some of the issues that you're gonna have if you did not do what you were supposed to in undergrad. And what I mean by that is, if you have low undergrad scores, your GPA is low. So now my GPA scores were low because I was having some issues, some family issues, and I was having some physical issues. And one of them is, I have Mac computers and they mess with your eyes, they make you tired. So I will be staring at the screen for so long and then I'd be like, I'm so tired I can't even study. I didn't even know what was going on until recently. Somebody's like, well, it's the blue lights. So it causes fatigue. And, you know, I have iPads and all that. So all that, you know, causes fatigue, and I had no idea. You know, I can feel it now. So, you know, I try not to sit here for too long. And then when I do, I actually sit back in my other chair and sit way back there so the lights don't affect my eyes too much. But that is a thing, you know. Somebody said you can actually get glasses for that off of Amazon. But it's a thing. It'll make you really tired. So there's that. Now, not all schools require a 3.0, but most of them do. Grad school. So I was looking at public health. Excuse me, at OSU. And OSU told me, no. They're like, your GPA is too low, you know. So it's 3.0. Now, what I can do is go back to the school that I got, you know, my degree from, and retake the classes that I got, like season, and take those classes. It's like a couple $1,000 each class, plus your books. But if you think you can get an A in them, I suggest you guys do that. Because I might do that. I might actually just go ahead and do that, you know. It'd be worth it, you know, get an A and then go ahead and try to get my scores up, because it also looks good when you're going to look for a job. So there's that. I mean, you're not doing this just to sit on your degree. You're trying to actually, you know, do something with it, and people are going to look at your GPA. You know, what was your GPA? You know? And it's a thing, people. It's a thing. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I'm just telling you right now, it's a big deal. So I applied for the school that I actually went to for a master's degree, but they want a 2.7. So my only choice right now is to retake those classes. That's it. See what happens. And I might do that. I was looking at public health real hard. You know, I'm going to tell you something. Some schools don't require you to have a 3.0 when it comes to law school, because I was looking at law school. And OSU Law School doesn't require you to have a 3.0. But of course, you got to take the LSAT. And I still can't get a straight answer out of anybody on where do I get the information from for the LSAT. I'm like, where is this, you know, three-eyed raven I'm supposed to contact and study the LSAT, because I would have had it by now. I would have been stuck. I would have been out of school. I got out of school Monday. Today's Friday. I would have had the LSAT 2 days ago. You know, instead of sitting up here trying to get this information, I would have been reading that joker, because I've listened to a lot of people say, you're going to need to study 6 hours a day. I'm like, okay, well, let's go. Let's rock and roll with this LSAT thing, because it's only taken 4 times in a year. I'm like, let's go. Let's rock and roll. Let's get it on. I want to start studying and hopefully get, you know, a score between 120 and 180. And, you know, then get my grants going on at the same time and go ahead and apply to OSU Law School. So, you know, there's a couple of routes that I'm thinking about going. But what I do know is I just don't want just a degree that I have. I think my degree is fine. I don't think nothing's wrong with it. But I just think furthering my education is a good thing. You know, I think the more ammunition that I have, you know, the better I'll be in a battle. You know. So if I step back out into the employment world, I want to be able to, you know, if I have a setback, I want to be able to recoil with something else. You know, I know my age is a factor. You know what I'm saying? My GPA is a factor. My age is a factor. So I want to be able to say, okay, well, I'm older, but, you know, I have my JD and I can practice in the state's healthcare law. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Anyways, just some things to let you guys know for you guys who are getting your undergrad, especially for you non-traditional students, older people, moms, dads out there looking to succeed in a world where college is okay, so you got a college degree. It's like, I got a college degree. It's like, so you got a college degree. You know what I mean? All that hard work, and guess what? So what? You know, guess what, Mom? So what? You're like, you know, but I did all this. It's just like, yeah, we know. So did, you know, millions of other people in the same state. You know, because now they have colleges that are free to go to, and they're accredited. Here's what I don't get. Why go to a non-accredited school? Don't go to a school that's a school for profit. Don't do that. You know, if you're going for anything medical, make sure it's LI Med. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure it's something that's, and listen, for some of you people who have certificates, like those certificates, like certificates without without degrees. Like, you put a degree to match with that certificate, and it's just, it's just the world is your oyster. You know what I'm saying? So many people who, who got certificates are making $12, $13 an hour, and you're good. You're just like, I'm good. But you feel that itch. You feel that, like, I want to go to grad school because I feel the need that I need to have more. You know what I'm saying? I need to have more education. Like, I feel that, you know what I'm saying? If you have that same feeling and you got the certificate, you're already working in the medical field, you feel like, I know there's more out there. Like, I could do more. Like, I could step up my game and, bring my income up to, instead of 26, 27,000, I'm cool. I got an apartment. I'm strizzy, saying you might have a partner or something or a roommate or whatever. And you're like, this is cool. Like, I could do this for a while, but you're like, but I know I can step up my game if I can get that 4-year degree. There's so much opportunity to do that. The biggest obstacle is, where's the money? And I'm going to be, fill out your FAFSA. That's for sure, because every state has a grant. There are a lot of people who have money and they don't know these people that they're trying to give, like, they don't know where you're at. So there's a lot of that going on. There's Schooly.com. It's not a .com, it's an app. It's called Schooly, and basically, I'm about to download it again, and basically it helps you apply for a bunch of scholarships. So do that. I'm about to do that. Again, a lot of scholarships. I'm going to do that. It's called Schooly.com. It was on Shark Tank. A black guy made it. And he had like $1.4 million in scholarships. He decided to make an app. So there's that. What else? Don't think that these people owe you anything. I was talking to somebody in when I was in my undergrad. We were talking about, graduation and all this other stuff and what we could do with our degree. I'm gonna tell you what not to do. Don't expect people to just, yay, you have your family, friends, but your employers, don't expect them to just, all of a sudden to put you in this $70,000. It just doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. I didn't do any internships. Do an internship. I just didn't, but I might go ahead and do an internship. I just might call up somebody, some hospital, and say, look, I graduated from, this university with this program, and I want to do an internship. Can I come in, just hang out with you guys and see what's going on and get some knowledge? That's a good thing to do. Even if you're not going to work for that hospital, or even if you're not going to actually work for anybody, you're going to be self-employed. It's still good to have that, because now you see, you know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, okay, you go through this, you do this, implementation and all these strategic, applications that you need for each department that you're managing. It's a system, and you need to learn the system. You just can't read about it. You gotta immerse yourself into it. You gotta dive in. You don't dive in, then you don't know what the water's like. You just can't watch somebody swim and get the experience. You gotta jump in and swim. You gotta do it. So there's that. There's that. A lot of people say, like D's and C's get degrees. Don't follow that mantra. Don't listen to that. It's true. You will get your degree, but that's about it. If you have any intentions on furthering your education in the same field, you don't want to live by that. You want to live by A's and B's will get me my next degree. That's it. That's it. Some people who skip class, not a good thing. I can skip this class. Especially if you're in an accelerated class, and I had to take a few of them. Accelerated classes are exactly what they are supposed to be. They're going to get you the letter grade faster, but it's what letter grade are you going to get? You can take a 15-week course. Take your time with it. During the regular, semesters. And then there's the summer. You know what I'm saying? 10-week course. Same course that's being taught 15 weeks, now crunched into 10 weeks. Do you have it or don't you? You know what I'm saying? And do you really want to get a D in it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, do you want to get a D? Because if you don't want to get a D, then I highly recommend that you you take the 15-week course. Like, don't mess around. Like, take the 15-week course. I know it's longer. It's 5 weeks longer. Okay. But between that D and that B, those points, it's just worth it. It's just worth it. And plus, you're going to probably retain that knowledge a lot more than if you were rushed through it. Then there's taking classes by yourself. Meaning by theirself, I'm sorry. Instead of taking, 2 or more classes, like I knew somebody who would take like 8 classes. She was smart. She was able to do it. I don't have that ability. So sometimes I just take 1 or 2 classes. I was cool with that. It took me a lot longer to get out of college. But look I made it. You know what I'm saying? I made it. But what I did is not necessarily what you should do. But but the method that I use, it takes longer. So if you're a non-traditional student, and you want to take your time, take your time. Especially if you know your pace. If you have all this time on your hands and you don't have anything else going on, no physical things that can bother you and slow you down, and you can jump in and take 4 classes, jump in and get it in and get it over with. But like I said, them C's, they can hurt you. And I know you're like, but that's a C, like that's good. Not if you're looking to further your education. That's what matters. You're like, man, I got to see it, science or whatever. I was cool with that. Yeah, but if you get too many C's, it really affects your GPA, and it just starts. So, you're looking at 2.1, 2.2. It's like, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? My final grade in statistics was a low C. All I needed was a D, but I got a C in it. My final grade was a C. That's because I failed the last test really bad. Another thing, those tests, eat right. Get your food up. Get your food up. Stop thinking that, oh, I'm so-and-so. Nah, eat. Eat your high energy food because your brain is starved. You know what I'm saying? Leave your friends, lock them out, close the door on them. Get into that zone, that steady zone. And if you feel you're burnt out, get some sleep, drink plenty of water, exercise. You need all that. And then come back to it like, yeah. Get your flashcard on. I got some around here somewhere. Get your flashcards on. You know what I'm saying? Get all the stressful things like away from you. You know what I'm saying? Pay your bills, all that. Make sure you eat good though. Because your brain needs that. You're just not going to function right without it. Leave all the stuff that slows you down. You want to go out and have a brewski? Nah, we're not having no brewski today. No brewskis for the next 15 weeks. I'm doing this right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm in these books right here. Right here. What's up with these books? You know what I'm saying? Have yourself, that's your 4-year plan to graduate. And your 5-year plan is to graduate with a master's. I'm just saying. What's your plan? What's your plan? What you got? One person asked me that a long time ago. She was like, you're aloof-mish, meaning you're not doing anything. She was uninterested in me because I wasn't doing anything. Had nothing to do with my looks. She's just like, you're not doing nothing. And she said, you need a 5-year plan. I was like, this sister coming at me right. It's like it's rejection, but it's the right rejection. I never forgot her. Because she rejected me for the right reasons. She wanted somebody who is doing something. Because she was doing something. And I couldn't even argue with it. I had no comeback for that. Except, you know what, you're right. So I was like, I never forgot those words. And, even in the midst of my lowest points, I always remember what she said, like, get yourself a 5-year plan. Don't just hang around and not do nothing. So college was always on my mind. So when I could afford it, I would take a couple classes. You know what I'm saying? I grab a couple classes, do something else, get a couple classes, and I had a goal in mind. I started talking to the right people. I cut off everyone. Everyone who I thought was a bother, I cut them off. Anything to slow me down, I cut it off. Anything. Anyone that slowed me down, anyone that had a negative thing to say about me going to school, anyone. I had nothing to say to them. I literally stopped calling them. I cut them off, and I've been by myself. My phone doesn't ring. This phone don't ring only for business. Phone don't ring. I don't care. Because I'm looking at, I got a 5-year plan. Well, my 5-year plan is over, but now I got another 5-year plan. You know what I'm saying? I have a degree, but I'm not happy. And I want to be happy. I want to be able to be like, boom, I did that. I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and go, boom, I did that. Hey, good morning, Nicole. How you doing? I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and go, boom. You know, like I'm happy that I have a degree, but I'm not satisfied. You know what I'm saying? It's just like eating a sandwich when you really needed dinner, but you just ate a sandwich. You're just like, this sandwich is cool, but I really needed like a whole dinner. That's what's going on. Like I'm not hungry anymore, but I know there's still some space in there, and I need to be about that. So that's what's really going on with me. So I'm telling you guys, for you guys who are getting your undergrad, you know what I'm saying? For you guys who are getting your undergrad, don't mess around. Don't mess around and get them C's and whatnot and think that it's cool. Don't do that. I'm telling you now, because now I'm suffering because I thought it was okay to just get a C. It's not. It's not. So I'm suffering from it. And now I have to spend more money in order to get that up, or go to a school that doesn't require such a high GPA. When my target school, I had 2 target schools. And the target school that I wanted to go to, I can't apply in the program or one of the programs that I was looking at. See, you don't want that. You don't want to graduate and then go into the workforce and then not accomplish your goal. You're like, okay, I got this degree. I'm gonna go into the workforce, and then they're like, yeah, this job only pays so many dollars an hour. You're just like, that ain't what I researched. That ain't what I heard. And be like, well, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody care what you researched. What they care about is what it is. They look at you and change them numbers real quick. Now what you gonna do? You go to another spot, same thing. You just like, this sucks. Yeah, you spent all that money to go to school. You having issues getting into grad school. You work so hard for your bachelor's degree. I mean, you work. Yeah, I was studying law, wasn't I? But you know what? I'm the problems I'm having. The whole reason for the whole reason for me making this video is to talk about not just my problem. No, it's kind of like for those people who are looking to get a degree, what to expect after you get one. Like, what's the job market doing? Like the video I made yesterday talking about the job market. Like some of those things you need to keep abreast on, because if you plan on moving to Houston, you plan on moving to Atlanta, you need to know what you're going to get into before you get there. And it's the same thing with a master's degree. Now, I can still get into, so I might be able to still just get a master's degree from the school I graduated from. I applied yesterday or 2 days ago, and when I'm looking at my degree audit, they already have, the information up there for my master's degree, which means a good chance that I was accepted already. So I'm having some issues, but the issues that I'm having are not necessarily hurting me to a point where I'm being halted. But I'm letting people know what I'm going through, because they might be in my same shoes, especially for the non-traditional person just going back to school at 27, 28. I want to go back to school. These are some of the things that you're gonna run into, because everybody's running into them. Whether you're 21 getting out of college, or whether you're 31 getting out of college. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. It's just letting people know these are the things that are happening to me now. And I'm what, 4 days out of school? You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking to get more schooling just because that's just what I want to do. So, you know, I'll be making a lot of videos like this, but not all of the videos are like, this is what's stopping me or something like that. It's more like, this is what can stop me if I keep going this route. And this is what can benefit me. So that's kind of why I did that. And I went live instead of doing it like I did yesterday, just so, you know, because you commented yesterday on one of the videos that I had. You said you wish I would have went live. So I said, you know, I'll go live today. That way, if somebody wants to chat it up and ask me questions about this, I think it's very important that we communicate as far as education goes, you know, because I know there's a lot of people on my channel who are either in school, they graduated already, or they're looking to get in school, you know. And so that's another reason why I'm doing that. So now I'm going to call the university I graduated from and, you know, ask them a few questions like, am I in or am I not? If I am in, so I called them a couple of days ago. And they said for graduate school, there's not a lot of grants that the school gives away. Now, I went to a private school, a private accredited school. Okay, so let's get that out the way. My accreditation is an LI Med. Okay, so just so you know that. And it's my school is not a for-profit school. So like Phoenix University, those are for-profit schools. And I don't, my school's not like that. So nonetheless, I already asked them some questions about a master's degree. And they were telling me financially, there's like, we don't have a lot of, you know, scholarships and stuff like that. But nonetheless, they do have, you know, you go onto their website and you look up what scholarships you can apply for. And some of those scholarships I had already seen before, and a lot of them are GPA sensitive. So once again, my GPA is low. I have a low GPA, but I had enough to graduate. So that's the biggest warning I have for people right now. Don't go to school, spend all that money, or have all that money spent on you and come out with a low GPA. That did happen to me. So I will eventually go back and take some of those classes. That's not something you want to do. But I want my GPA to get above a certain point, so I don't have some of these roadblocks in my way. I can go where I want to. You know what I mean? The law school that I was looking to get into, one of them was like, your GPA is too low. You just don't want, my thing is, you don't want to hear no. You don't want somebody to tell you no. You're like, why am I getting rejected? You know, and if it's their fault why you're getting rejected, that's one thing. But if it's your fault, it's like, I did this to myself. You can fix that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to further your education, you can go back and fix that. It's going to cost you, but you can fix that. So there's that. And yeah. If you're in the medical field, make sure your qualifications are LI Med. I can't stress that enough. I can't. Make sure that your school is accredited. I can't. Okay, so there are schools that are not accredited. Do not go to those schools. Do not. I know some people who did that way back when I first went to college. They were like, yeah, we're going to go to a non-accredited school. We're leaving this school. And I was like, wait, I know this school sucks, but go to a non-accredited? That's like riding a bike going nowhere. And you're trying to go somewhere. It's like being on an elliptical and you really don't, you know, you're really trying to move forward. It's just like, nah, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Check out your school's qualifications. It's very important. Also, the place where you're actually trying to go and work, if you have a projected workplace, call them, go see them, and intern with them if you can. But see, one of my places I was thinking about working is for the CDC, and I've been thinking that when I lived in Atlanta, because I used to walk past the CDC, on my way to work. I'd be like, I'd love to go up in there and just, and just, contract out or, be a regular employee for the CDC. That'd be the bomb, wouldn't it? So I was like, I just always thought that, like, it'd be pretty cool to work for the CDC. Well, I looked on the CDC's website yesterday. With my education, I can now work for the CDC, So it's just something to think about. Now the CDC is in Atlanta, like it's in the heart of Atlanta. But where I really want to live is outside of Atlanta. So it would be like a 40, 50-minute drive every day. But nonetheless, CDC has some contract jobs also. So like I said, with the degree that I have, I can now apply for the CDC. I can apply for the contract jobs and stuff along like that. So I'm saying that to say, when I was in Atlanta, I was already thinking about who I wanted to work for. And if you're a non-traditional student, you should be doing the same thing. Even if you don't work for those people, it's a, if I might could, what would I need to work for them and hold it down like $50,000, $60,000, you know what I'm saying, with potential to move up. Now, there's some people who have certificates. Okay, let me say it like this. If you have a certificate, you can always put something else on that sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Make it a bigger sandwich. Just like a degree, you can always put something else on it, make it your degree better. Thing about certificates, they have a projected income. So if you have a certificate in underwater basket weaving, that certificate nationwide has a projected income. When you look at that, you're going, I am only worth this much money. Now, with some degrees, that can happen too. Some degrees you can be like, I can only make this money. So my point is, if you're gonna get a certificate in something, if you're gonna get a degree in something, don't let that certificate and that degree dictate how much you're worth. Get a degree and or a certificate or compound both and let the sky be the limit. Now, when somebody says, this is how much this is worth, you're like, okay, this is how much this is worth to you. But I can take this, you know what I'm saying, and I can do this, that, and the third with it on my own. So there's also that. You don't always have to be in a box where someone can say, this is the job you're gonna do, this is all that you're worth. This is all the money that you're worth. You can say, I'm making this much money over here with you, but I'm using the same certificate, same degree, and I'm over here doing this with it, and I'm making, you know what I'm saying? I got my hustle over here with it, and then I got you going on. That way, if you, act up and don't want me here anymore, I'm still stable over here. That's the way you have to look at anything that you have when it comes to income. Anything that you have, For that reason, this is why I was thinking about getting a JD, and thinking about, I was thinking about getting a JD and getting my master's degree, which I can actually do both. Like right now, I'm aligning myself to do both because I've been calling colleges off the hook, like, yeah, what's up? So I'm in line to do both. I just don't want to If I go and get a traditional job, which I don't think that I will, I don't want to just be like, it'll feel stagnant to me. I always want to be moving forward, even financially. I always want to be where I know that someone can't just cut me off and there goes all my money. You're fired. No, I'm not. I no longer work here, but my money's still good. Trust. You know what I'm saying? That type of attitude. Yeah, straight up. Oh, you're fired. No, not really. You know, I got fired once like that before, and I was, laughing all the way to where I went to, France. Yeah, I was laughing all the way to France because I had someone in my life who was a GS-13. And she said, when you get fired from that job, you send me an email. And she was like, you come stay with me in England for a couple of weeks, we'll go to France. And that's exactly what happened. And I went on unemployment after that. So I was just like, I didn't get fired. You just put me on vacation and you're still about to pay me because you fired me. So there were, guys at the door to stop me because people were flipping out. No, you can't. I'm just like, why are y'all flipping out? Like, you're not going to keep this job. They don't. And see, it wasn't me who got fired. It was the whole department that they got rid of. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't just like, oh, you're fired. It was a whole department they got rid of, And some people were trying to, fight people. And, when it came to me, I saw those guys looking at me. I was like, I'm not going to fight y'all to stay here. I'm getting ready to call unemployment. Like right now. Like before I get in my car, my phone will be in my hand dialing unemployment. And that's exactly what happened. Beep, boop, 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 boop. Yeah, I just got fired. Fill out that online. Beep, boop, 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 beep. Shoot, I had a check coming before I got on a plane. And I milked the heck out of it. I did. Because it was their fault that they let me go. So I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just saying I already had a backup, so I wasn't stressed at all. I already knew if this goes down like this, what's going to happen. I already knew where I could get money from. I was just waiting on it, and I had a couple jobs do me like that, fired me, and I was just like, oh, okay. I jumped right on unemployment because they fired me, you know what I mean? Or they laid me off, or however that went. And there was no argument. Like, they couldn't put up an argument and say, yeah, he did this. It was just like, yeah, we laid off the whole department, or this job was no longer available. Like one time that happened where the job, I worked myself out of a job, and they was just like, well, we don't have any more. And I was like, okay, now called unemployment. And I was just that. And that's how I survived until I found something else and kept rocking. So I'm saying, always have yourself some backup. And it may be unemployment. Like, listen. I will tell y'all now, you either gonna eat or you not. I'm just saying, you may look at unemployment as this, oh, I'm on unemployment. You either gonna eat or you not. Yeah. You can either eat today or you can start today. If you got to rock with unemployment for 6 months, get your money, boo. Get it. But in that 6 months, you need to have yourself a plan. Like, plan on the next 6 months. Like, scheme on it. Because you might not need unemployment for 6 months or a year. You might just need it for like 30 days. But get your money. You know what I'm saying? Like, that money's yours. That's rightfully yours. And who cares what anybody else got to say? This is your money. Get your money. You might need 2 months to know, like, okay, I'm going to be here for 2 months. Boom. You know what I'm saying? That third month come, you tell unemployment you no longer need them. And you know what? When you do that, that money is still there for you. Because you can run out of unemployment. and then have to reapply. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to exhaust that. You know what I'm saying? And then apply for extensions and they're like, no, we're not giving you no more money. You don't want that. You might take a hiatus for a month or two, get back out there. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. No, but I just want to, and I experienced all that. So, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to talk to y'all about some of those things, and especially grad school, because I know some of you already got your degree. Phyllis and I was talking, and Phyllis Brown, and she has a degree. She did it like I did, non-traditional student. She has her LLC. Now, that's another thing, because I know some of y'all have certificates. Y'all educated in something. And some of y'all might not know about LLCs. Yes, but you can always apply for an extension. You can apply for an extension. Okay, I'm gonna change this music even though I like the song. This music right here is really good to talk over. One of them beats I made a long time ago. Okay, so let me change this real quick, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about it. So your LLC, right? One second. Your LLC, which is your LLC, which basically means that you can have a business. Okay. My uncle got rejected, but he moved his grandkids, and they gave him additional 3 months. Then after that, they denied him because he had no more money in unemployment. Yeah. Okay, so sometimes, well, let me say this. Some states are different. And unemployment has changed. And it's going to change again with this president. Just like SSI and all that's changing, simply because Donald Trump is pretty much going after poor people in a huge, huge, huge way. He just like, you're lazy, you don't want to work, yada, 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 Now, here's the thing. There are some people who are lazy and don't want to work. There are some people who are rightfully unemployed, and they should be on unemployment, because a company laid them off and or fired them. Some companies, they might have went through a merger and they got rid of, middle management or something like that. And just like, I've seen that before. I've been in that before. With the state of Ohio did that. Okay. And the whole floor almost got taken out. It's like 30, 40 people gone. You can't tell me that I can't apply for unemployment after the state, canceled my Christmas. Like, nah, I have the right to file for unemployment. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, what's going on, Tara? How you doing today? So now at one time I went on unemployment, and I just kept getting extensions because I was just like, screw that, I'm gonna get an extension. You know what I mean? But after that, what I eventually did was I became self-employed. And I decided to just be a contract worker. Now, how I did that, one, I started my own company. It didn't last too long, but I started my own company. I had that experience. Like, you know what? Screw that. I'm tired of people firing me. I'm tired of Becky looking at me and not liking my shirt. Next thing you know, I'm fired. I'm tired of temporary services. Screw that. I'm like, I'm going out on my own. So you know what I started doing? I started cleaning floors. I had a truck, and there was a local spot where you can go and rent a buffer, drills and all that. It's still there. You can go right down to Main Street and rent that stuff. So what I did was, I'm great, just popped in to say, hey, at work right now. Have a good day. You have a good day too, baby. Go have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. So what I did was I charged, you know, what the equipment costs to the people. So it didn't cost me anything, you know. And like I said, it was short-lived, but even my friends at the time were just like, okay, I see you. Like, I was like, man, I need to get money. I'm still young. I'm able. I'm gonna go out here and just make my own thing. Now, that fell through because you go head to head right to the customer, and you're just like, I don't like doing this. So what I did after that was I went on Craigslist, and I started looking for jobs on Craigslist. So when I started looking for jobs on Craigslist, I looked under brand ambassador, I looked under handyman. So I was doing like handyman stuff, helping people fix stuff, you know, and then brand ambassador stuff, doing promotions. My first promotion, I promoted for car company, for Dodge, the Dodge Neon. All I had to do was just stand there in front of the car and hand people a pamphlet. It was me and a young lady. We just stood there. Hey, how you doing? It's the new Dodge Neon. Go ahead, take a look. Here you go. And they paid us, you know, good for that. And I was like, oh yeah. I did that for like 12 years. I just kept doing it. And then at one time, I made like $500 in 1 week. I was just like, okay. I just made $500 in 1 week. And this is what really made me stay in the game, because I said, I wonder if I can make $600 in 1 week. So this is how bugged out I was. I had a truck, right? I still do. Not the same truck though, but the same brand truck. So what I did was I would fold the seats down, get a blow-up bed, you know, from Walmart, one of them $20 blow-up joints, put the bed in the back of the truck, and I would go and sleep in the Walmart parking lot. So every time I had a contract job, it would usually be out of the city. I would just go to either a hotel and sleep in the hotel parking lot in my truck and get their free Wi-Fi, and/or I would go and sleep in Walmart's parking lot. And Walmart was like, we want you to sleep out here. I was like, why? They said, because we know you're going to shop at our store. And then I changed up my phones. I got a track phone. And the reason why I got a track phone is because that phone goes nationwide. Track phone is what it is. It was built, the towers are built along the railroad tracks. So that track phone turns into Straight Talk. And that's why I keep a Straight Talk phone on. Straight Talk all day. I've been with them for years. Not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. Straight Talk all day. I was making money off of that. So my contract job, let's just say it was for a week. I knew the amount of money I was going to make off of that contract job. I was like, this is a $700 check. I know it. What I would do is, once the work day was over, sometimes 16-hour days, I was like, let's go. When the work day was over, I would, I'd get some eat, get some sleep. I'd be up applying for another job because I knew this job ended on this day. So I would go back on the Craigslist and look and see what was coming up. Boom. This is how much they pay. This job starts here. This is where it's at. Boom. I can be there. Boom. Jump in the roller. Boom. Out. And sometimes when it slowed down in the winter, they would come more sporadically. So, you know, my money would get low. I have a friend or two, I say, listen, I need to borrow $60 from you. I get it back to you in a week. They'd be like, all right, because they knew they was going to get their money. They didn't have to ask me for it. I would just roll up to them like, thanks for the money. Here's your $60. Thank you very much. Because they knew exactly what I was doing. They knew it. That was my hustle. That's how I lived. You know what I'm saying? That's how I lived. And one of those jobs paid me $900 a week. I was hustling. And after that job ended, I went on unemployment for a year. I was hustling. That's how I grinded it out. And I kept doing that all the way up until my car accident. And when those jobs actually slowed down, I went to work for Honda through a temporary service, through Labor Ready. And Labor Ready would pay you like $9 an hour. The job was like an hour away, but I had a van and a truck. So I was loading people up in either my van. Are you going to grad school? I'm gonna try to go to grad school. I could probably answer that question. Okay, according to the school I went to, I just did a degree audit, and they already have my information in here under my degree audit. So I'm thinking that I've been accepted. Now I have to find out how I'm going to pay for this, because how I thought I was going to pay for 7 months of it, I can't. I was going to use some of my Chapter 31. I have 7 months left, but according to my VA rep, she said I can't use my Chapter 31 to further my education. So I'm gonna have to find some. I'm gonna have to find some grants. I'm not doing any loans at all, ever, never, never, ever, 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 ever. It's a nightmare. I'm not doing that at all. So let's see. So it's most likely that I've been anticipated 820. Yeah, it looks like I've been accepted. You know what? Let me call them. Let you guys listen to the phone call. How about that? You call down there. Boom, boom, boom. You call them and see what they have to say. Pretty cool, huh? I think this is their number.
Thank you for calling Franklin University. To better serve you, our prompts have changed. Please listen carefully before making your selection and have your student ID, a pen, and paper ready. For the employee directory, press pound. To access the departmental directory for frequently contacted offices, press 1. If you have an inquiry regarding the business office or financial aid, press 2. If you have recently applied or inquired and have questions regarding your admission status or need an appointment, press 3. Calls are recorded for quality assurance.
Yes, my name is Anthony, and I applied to your grad school program, and I'll be graduating in September from your undergrad, and I did a degree audit, and I see that my information is already up here for like a degree audit on grad school. Does that mean I was accepted?
When did you apply, sir?
A couple days ago.
Okay. What is your student ID?
You know what? I don't know my student ID. But hold on a second. Student ID. Boom, boom, boom. Like, how do you know if you've been accepted or not?
So, I mean, you would have to go through your own admission process. So, I mean, you might have an admission requirement, and it might be showing that you are applying for
Oh, okay. So you have to do all that first before you're accepted.
Uh,
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind then, because I haven't done that yet. But I haven't had anybody tell me what to do. You know what I mean?
okay, yep, so I can, the reason why I would need you to that is that I can check to see your admissions, by the way.
You,
So that way you can go ahead and if they're available, and then they can go ahead and contact you. But typically, an application, they can take about 24 to 48 hours, and about probably about a week after you'll hear your admission provided by email regarding the next steps. We also have a checklist for graduates. So you go to our website, linkedin.edu, on the top right, you can see there's a chat website. And
right.
you type in active checklist, it'll be a PDF form, and it'll just show you all sorts of things that we're requesting. So with the essay, it'll give you the question and what we're looking for.
Okay.
And then you can ignore the transcript because if you're graduating here, we would already have that information.
Right.
And then you can also ignore the fee because you won't have to pay for the application fee if you're a graduate.
Oh, okay. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, my contact is Samantha, so I'll just email her and ask her some questions.
All right. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, thank you. I can't find my ID anyway. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye. Okay, so I don't know what I did with my student ID. You don't use it. All right, so there's a checklist that they go through, and I need to write an essay and all this other stuff, you know, the normal stuff. But I have a low GPA, so I know what their GPA requirements are. So it wouldn't surprise me if they said no. But being that I graduated there, or I will be graduating from there in September, it wouldn't surprise me if they say, "Hey, we'll work with you." Like, that's why I applied anyway, because I know their school. You know what I'm saying? If they think they can get some money, they're like, yeah, we'll work with you. You know what I mean? You know, they'll barter with you. You know what I'm saying? If they think it's doable. Because the majority of their students are non-traditional students. It's a school that's set up like that. Now, it's not just an online school. So a lot of my classes I was actually going to, sitting there in front of a teacher, getting it in like a regular student. And some of the classes you have a choice. You either want to go to the class or you want to do the whole online thing. The thing about grad school is my grad school is all online. Now, I don't really have a problem because of the classes I'm taking. But if I decided to take like public health, if I went for a public health degree in epidemiology, there's no way I want to do that online. No way. I want to sit there and I want to look at that professor and I want to ask that professor, trying to decide on what I'm going to grad school for. Yeah, that's a big decision because it's big money. You know what I'm saying? It's $15,000 to $30,000. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but go. If you can, go. You know, if you get that green light, like don't even, you know what I'm saying? And I was talking about having a 5-year plan. I think I just need to do a whole live on a 5-year plan. That way I can give you guys a whole, you know, year by year projection on what I expect to be doing. And this way, some of you guys can do the same thing and say, okay, I'm here now, regardless of what it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be in, you know, academia. It could just be in something in your household. Like I have a month plan for this room right here. You know what I'm saying? I plan on getting all the stuff that's kind of, you know, I plan on cleaning it up more because it just needs to be. So I have already started with my desk. even though it's still a mess I've thrown away. Like, okay, so I got garbage bag ready, you know what I'm saying? Because I just been throwing stuff away I just don't need. I couldn't concentrate on that while I was going to school. I was like, I'll get to it. But now I'm trying to clean all of this up because my next move, yeah, like I wasn't playing. I was just like, you know, this is about to fill up again. This was a bunch of stuff I don't need. So I've been going all through the house, you know, just getting things straight. I'm gonna hit the basement, and that's gonna be a real chore because I actually have to clean the basement because of the rain came in and whatever. But so yeah, as far as what you want to do, I mean, I can't tell you what you want to do, but I can tell you this: whatever it is that you decide, you know your money. Like, your money is important. So whatever you put your money into, make sure that you're going to get that money out of it. Like, and that's real. It's just like a relationship. Whatever you put your effort into, you want to get effort out of. Because if you're not getting, if it's not being reciprocated, you're in the wrong relationship. And I don't care if it's with your pet hamster. I don't care if it's with your hamster. If your hamster don't like you, get a new hamster. That's just it. That's just it. You putting all this effort into something and you not getting it back, you that's just it. Don't be there. Don't be there. So, you know, you're looking at $15,000, $20,000. I mean, for law school, I'm looking at $30,000 for the top law school that I was looking at here. My last decision was a waste of time. I said, next one. That's right. If you're not getting that love, that affection, and all that other stuff that you need, you know what I'm saying, that keeps you going, then you're in the wrong relationship. Like I said, I don't care if it's with your pet hamster. If your hamster don't like you, get a new hamster. Go right down to this little veterinarian place and be like, this hamster does not like me. I want a new one. Thank you very much. Bye. That's it. So your college, whatever your grad school is, like when I got my bachelor's, the military made me research. He's like, you're going to research what you want before we pay for it. And I couldn't be upset about that because I'm an artist. You know, I play the guitar, I draw, I wrote a book called The Sorrowed King. I do music. I write songs. I have songs all over the place, you know what I'm saying, on the net, you know, my SoundCloud. Like, that's what I love to do. My sister, she graduated for 2-year art school. My brother's an artist. My younger brother's an artist. You know what I'm saying? That's what we like to do. But we realized real quick that the world doesn't give not one ding dong dang it about artists. They just don't. But what they do care about is the medical field. So every single one of us, you know, not my younger brother, the top 3 jumped into the medical field. And we either have a certificate or a degree in the medical field. My stepbrother has a doctorate. I don't know what it's in though. His sister-in-law is a doctor. Her husband has a master's. My sister on my father's side has a bachelor. My other sister on my father's side, she has a bachelor. I have a bachelor. My older brother, he's going to get a doctorate. Like, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? We realize what we love to do and what we want to do is 2 different things. So you have a lot, like me getting a bachelor's is not a big deal in my family, especially on my father's side. They're like, okay. That's how they look at it. They don't be like, oh, you're the first one. They're like, all right, good for you. Now what? And you would think after all that hard work, you should at least be happy for me. It's not that they're unhappy. It's just that they're like, you know what I'm saying? They're not unhappy, but they're like, oh, bro, there's so much more. Like my stepbrother, people give him money because he has a doctorate degree. Just give him money. Like, it's like, this is what they're talking about. In academia, it's just a whole different type of atmosphere once you start getting in further education in academia. People respond to you differently. They just do. They just do. When I worked for the House of Representatives, and I would tell people this, people responded to me differently. They'd be like, oh, okay. You know, they speak to you one way until you be like, you know, I work for the House of Representatives, representative, so-and-so's office. They'd be like, oh, well, even the police. I'm going to give you a ticket. I'd be like, okay, well, I work for the House of Representatives. And when I get to work tomorrow, I'm going to find out. They'd be like, yeah, I'm going to just give you a warning. Have a good day. They respond to you differently. So academia is the same thing. A bachelor is just the beginning. Like, that's just your base. When you start getting further up into academia, people start looking at you differently. And then they have an expectation out of you once you get your degree. I ain't saying that getting a bachelor's degree is like nothing. That is a whole lot of something, especially the cost. That's a whole lot of something. But there's a whole lot more that you can do. And if you can get those green lights, you can get that degree that you, if you can get that university that you want looking at you to be like, okay, come on in here. It's just a whole different world. Academia is just a whole different world. It just is. I used to, I do poetry and stuff like that. I used to years ago. And a lot of the poets in one spot were just a lot of hood people. And they would be saying some real good poetry because, it was all, you see these people walking down the street with a cigarette in their mouth, 20 degrees outside going to catch the bus. What's up, man? What's up? But you'll see them at the poetry spot every week because they had something to say. Like, I got to get this off my mind. They really would. And it'd be ex-cons left and right, straight up talking about the jail system and all. You wanted to hear that, like, yo, it's crazy. And then you go to another poetry spot. They were all academic, all OSU students, graduates. One of them was about to get her doctorates, bunch of them. It's a different type of poetry when you're listening to them because you're just like, what are you really upset about? But then some of the stuff they say is just like, wow, like, okay, you've been all up in the library. You can tell by their, the projection of their spirit, just like it's different. You just like, wow, like, how can I fit into that? Saying coming from this. Me, I'm stuck in the middle. I got a little bit of hood in me and I got a little bit of good in me. Saying? I'm right between them both because I'm not like a rat. I can't really go all the way with that. But I didn't have to chase people down the street with a crowbar in my hand, from robbing me. And then, there's an academia side. I can deal with those people, but only for so much because some of their problems just ain't that deep to me. You know what I'm saying? But I can still listen to them. Like, some of the stuff you're saying, okay, especially when you're talking about public issues, that I'm on board with. And a lot of their poetry would talk about, police brutality. They would talk about, stuff like that. I was so on board with that because some of those people are in the position to fix things. You got to understand that. Like, academics put you in the stream of the ability to start changing things on a holistic view. It gives you a panoramic view of where you live and who's doing what in your community. And that's what I'm saying. It's a whole, like, people start looking at you different. They looking at you like you can start doing something with this. That's what I'm saying. Like if I told hey, what's up? Give me the truth. How you doing? Like if I haven't even told my dad I'm about to graduate because I know the response I'm going to get. It's just, so what? Because there's so many other people, and he never graduated. You know what I'm saying? He worked at a factory for 36 years, though. You know what I'm saying? He get money off of them right now. He's 70. He's still getting guap off of them. You know what I'm saying? Because he put in them 36 years, and he only had to do 30. They kicked him out. He was like, "Nah, I don't want to go." It's like, "Yeah, you're gonna retire." He's like, "All right." Then he started working somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So he's good, but he deals with people who have doctorate degrees. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna think about him. There are no lawyers in my family though, so that would be a first if I accomplish that. So my projected, my 5-year plan is to hopefully get my MBA and then get my JD. And after that, jump right back into politics, although I don't think I'll be the politician. I just want to work with some. Your degree can push. Yes, your degree can push you to a better position. It gets people to listen to you. People don't, listen, you got the people on the street, like the incident recently with Chicago, so much going on in Chicago. But the police put a bait truck in the hood full of Nike tennis shoes. You put a bait semi truck in a, like, who has a semi truck to just leave around? That's what they did. And the brothers recognized it. They were just like, we know that's a bait truck. And when they all start coming out, like, why y'all put this bait truck? All the police start coming out. Yeah, all the police start coming out, like, you know, start jaw jacking with them. They just like, why y'all put this? You know, they was pissed off because these kids don't have new shoes. So if they think they can get free new shoes, you think they're not going to jump in that truck? And then you going to take those kids to jail when these kids is running around with holes in their shoes? Are you for real right now? See, that right there, something has to change. That is a huge, that's if just to get their numbers up. See, that whole thing happened. That is a huge problem. That whole thing happened because of the corporation of the jail system. That had nothing to do with catching criminals. All that is we need to get our numbers up because the police are paid, their corporate goons. Listen, a policeman is supposed to be voted in by the people. That hasn't happened since 1949. When's the last time a police officer or someone who wanted to be a police officer came up to you and said, hey, would you vote for me to be a police officer in your district? When is the first time that happened? Never. A police officer is supposed to be voted in to protect you. I've never had a police officer walk up to me or one who wanted to be a police officer say, I want you to vote for me. Just like a regular politician, like city council. Never. They could have given those shoes away easily. Easily. Yeah. And the thing about it is, they would never do that and they would never do that. And the thing about it is, as a lawyer, I would have been all over that. And I don't even live in Chicago. But you know what I would have done? I would have contacted that office real quick and been like, this is who I am. And I'm going to file a class action lawsuit against you. And that's just that. And I would have got other attorneys on the phone, and I would have been talking to city council. I would have been talking to somebody real quick. Heads are going to roll right now. I'm going to file a class action lawsuit against you, against the Department of the Police. And then I'm going to have every single one of those officers who were out there doing that, I'm going to file a class action lawsuit against you personally. I'm going to take you to criminal court, and I'm going to take you to civil court. And I'm going to win in both of them. That would have been that. I would have called their House representative. I would have even called their governor's office. And there's a good chance I would have jumped on a plane and walked into the governor's office or your congressman's office. You can do that. Okay. So like I said, a lot of stuff that I do off of experience. When I worked for the House of Representatives, one of my friends was getting her car towed by the police. The car was sitting outside where all of our cars sit. So what the police did was he called a tow truck. And, one of our friends walked outside. He was like, yo, they towing your car. And, so I came outside because I was about to leave, and I was looking at him like, and then I looked at the tow truck driver hooking up the car. Now, the law is here. It's not a law, but it's just pretty much this is how the tow truck drivers do. If we hook up your car, then you have to pay us to get that car down, meaning it's already being towed. That's how these that's how shiesty they are out here, even if they're in the wrong. It's just like, I'm not about to pay you $75 to let my car down when I know this meter says that I still got 3 minutes. You better let my car down, and, then you're going to go through something. But the police is the one who told him to do it. So when I got outside, I was just looking at him. And then I looked at the tow truck driver. And then I said to the police officer, my name is so-and-so. I work for the Ohio House of Representatives. And when I get to work tomorrow, I'm going to find out if what you're doing here is legal. He looked at the tow truck driver and said, put the car down. Tell the person who owns the car to come outside right now. Dude came outside. He said, I'm not going to tow your car today, but if you don't get this, and this fixed, your car is going to get towed. And that was it. My other friend used to work for the House of Representatives, and if one of our friends went to jail, he would go right down there to the jail to get him out. Just like that. So like I said, when I start saying I would do something, I'm talking off of experience because I know that there's more than meets the eye than what you can do. You know what I'm saying? And when you work for a certain, like even now, like my letter at, some people think I'm just talking crazy. Like, you're just talking crazy. That is a letterhead from the Ohio House of Representatives. This is a letter from the senator's office. It's an insignia from the Senate. Because one time I got into some trouble. Some people wanted to mess with me. So I was like, all right. So I knew who the senator was who took over, and see, when I worked in the office at Representatives, my House representative took over the Senate seat. I'm sorry. The senator was first sitting in the Ohio representative seat. He moved, then my representative came in. But the thing about it is, I was the only one working there before he even knew my name. So I worked there months before he even showed up. And I had a lady call me from his district. And mind you, I started out as a temporary. So I had a lady who called, and her husband worked for the post office. A lot of people don't notice you have to vote for a postmaster. Postmaster just doesn't get that position. He's elected to get that. He or she is elected to get that position. So the postmaster, what they did was they sent out letters for open enrollment, but they didn't send a letter to these people's house until it was too late. Open enrollment is the insurance. So basically the post office has a specific time where they're covered, where you're covered by a specific insurance. Once that enrollment closes, you have to pay for your medicine out of pocket. But here's the thing, if they send that letter to you too late and the enrollment closes, then it's incumbent upon them, like it's their fault. And that's what happened to this lady. She says, my husband works for the post office. He takes all this medicine. She's crying and whatnot. She's like, we can't afford this. So listen, medicine today, the majority of the medicine that you're going to take is generic. But some of the medicine that you take is the original medicine. It is high priced. I'm talking about $6, $7 a pill. It's expensive. Trust me on that. So when you're taking 6, 7 different kind of methods, that's hundreds of dollars. And you need it constantly. So she, was saying how they missed the enrollment because they got the enrollment letter late. I was pissed off. I said, what is a post office? What's your boss's number and who's the post office postmaster? And I got this lady's information down, and I was like, okay, I'll give him a call. Hung up the phone. I called that dude. He answered the phone, and I called him by his first name. And I was like, this is so-and-so from the Ohio House of Representative, and me and you got a problem. And once I told him, what had happened and this, that, and the third, hung up the phone. I think that lady called me back the next day, and she was crying again. And she said, let me tell you something. I don't know what you said to him. What they did was they reopened the enrollment. See, he knew he was wrong. You know you're wrong because these people work for you. It's not like you're sitting on Capitol Hill and you're not listening to the people in the hood. You see them. You know they work for you. You know what you did was wrong. You know what I'm saying? But now you're going to be a hard ass about it. And you know that your workers are suffering. Like no, because I will call somebody and make sure that you no longer have that job because you're an elected official. We're not doing that. She said, not only did you help me, you helped a bunch of other people. See, this didn't only just happen to her. She thought it only happened to her. Come to find out it happened to a bunch of people. And then once my representative came in, he said, oh, you're the one. And I was like, I'm the one. What? He said, I went in to talk to my pharmacist. And I was just like, okay. He said, my pharmacist said, thank you. And he was talking to the representative because he, found out who he was. And he was like, thank you for what? And then he told him what happened. So it didn't just help the people in the post office. It trickled down to the doggone pharmacy and onward. So those people were just going through some things that just didn't necessarily need to happen. And a lady just made one phone call. And I wasn't even a rep. I was the legal aid, or the legal assistant, or the legislative assistant. Let me say that, not the legislative assistant. And got that fixed with one phone call. And you can do the same thing. Now, see, if I saw that in Chicago, let that happen here. And see if I don't get on the phone. Oh, man. I'll be on the phone in a minute. I had some people out here mess with me, and I told them, I said, listen, I'm a United States veteran, and I used to work for the Ohio House of Representatives. I'm going to tell you right now. You can mess with me if you want to, but I'm going to make some phone calls. And that's just that. My friend got deported. I went to his wife. I was like, listen, do you want me to make some phone calls? Because I will. In a heartbeat. She was like, yeah, call him. So I called him. We was on the phone together. And when she started listening to what they were saying and started realizing I was for real, she was like, okay, I don't want to use them, because she didn't want to get investigated. And it wasn't because she was criminal. It was because there was a way that she can get to her husband without delay. But if we start investigating who's deporting them, then she's like, I don't want to, because it's too much red tape, it might hold us up. So what happened was, when they come, like ISIS, SNAT, or ICE, or whoever they are, the Department of Land Security, and is snatching people up and separating them from their families, they came for my neighbor. They got him at work at 6 o'clock in the morning, snatched him right on up and took him up there to Cincinnati, 2 hours away from here. How was that? And the girlfriend, well, they got 2 kids together. She came to me and was like, yo, this is what happened. I was like, okay, let's go. Let's rock, But she eventually decided, you know what, we're not even going to fight this, because they could have held him for like 3 years, because it's federal. They could have held him for 3 years. And listen, I tell people all the time, if it's a federal crime, there's no speedy trial. They can just hold you. So they could have just held on to him before they shipped him back to, Africa. And that's just that, But she said what happened was, he's not a criminal. His visa ran out. And that's just that. He was there on an education visa. It just ran out. So when his visa ran out, they realized that this guy's not a criminal. He goes to work every day. So they shipped him home like real quick. So this is the reason why she said, I'm good. Because they shipped him home. So they just packed up their stuff, got on a plane and left. And now, they're all together. So, So I've been through some things. But this is one reason why I wanted to further my education and get a law degree, because I want to change some things in the healthcare field. And to get people to listen to me and take me serious, I want to be able to formally construct some type of literature with research and all that. Same thing you do in college, but I want to do it for real, show some numbers, and then come up with a proposal and present it to the president. Now, some of you may be like, that's far-fetched. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not far-fetched. And you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing now. There's a guy who did that. He was a famous guitar player. Didn't have a degree, but he was real smart. Yeah, he was real smart, though. So he was just like looking at the missile silos. And he was like, you can change what you're doing and save money. This dude drew up a proposal and went to the White House. It was just like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't expect that from some guy who's like a rock and roll dude. He didn't have a degree. But like I said, there's just some things, I want to do, and people take you more serious with the degree. What kind of degree do you have? Blast Nose 06? Blast. What's your degree in? Give me the truth. You have a degree? So, yeah. So there's just some benefits of having a degree and academia and all that other stuff. And I'm still going to look at the LSAT. I'm gonna call Capital today and find out exactly where I can take the LSAT and how I can study for it, because I can't get a straight answer out of anybody. Like, I want to take the LSAT. Like, where can I find the LSAT? Mind you, I don't have any money to pay for this, but call Capital University. That's good. Call Capital Law School. See if I can get some answers out of them. All right. Calling Capital Law School. Need to go to the gym.
Capital Law University, how can I help you today?
Yes, I'm interested in going to your school, and I wanted to know, where can I either study for the LSAT? Like, I've been going online and can't really get an honest answer out of anybody. Like, where can I get the information to study for the LSAT?
Yes, okay, I'm going to transfer you to Mrs. Stacy Beaver to answer any of your questions, please.
It's going to go in a voicemail.
Thank you for calling Capital University Law School's admissions office. Our normal business hours are Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you're a prospective student, we'd love to talk with you about the many opportunities you'll find at Capital.
Obviously
In
not.
the heart of Columbus's business and legal community. Leave your name and phone number. We'll get back with you as soon as we can. After the tone, please record a message. When you have finished, you may have...
Can't get a straight answer out of anybody on where the information for the LSAT is. So, like, get some love over here. Because I would have been had it. It's a gem right here. I got some new music if you guys want to hear it. You guys are like at work or something. Sometimes dreams fall down, 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 down. Sometimes I need to eat. Y'all like that? You're at work right now. I knew it. I was like, you guys must be at work because nobody's responding. But it's okay. I get watch time out of it. Plus, when I start making, music and stuff, I know that you guys are listening to it. So I'm okay with that. How you doing today, Happy? Bum, bum, bum. That song was called So He Said Yes. Dum, 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 dum. Dum, 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 dum. Yeah. You're out. Talk to you later, bro. Oh, volume turned off. Oh, okay. I'll talk to you later, man. Glad you stopped by. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. I need to lift today. Need to go to Big Boy Town. still live. Y'all watch that shoulder though. Doing some boxing yesterday. Y'all watch that shoulder though, man. On that bench press. That 315 will mess you up. Pretty chill, ain't it? Man, I think I might have a tender fish sandwich. That would hit me off right. Then I'm gonna go to the gym. Yeah. Do some shoulder exercises so I can get this, the delts. Get the delts, get these kind of built up a little bit more. Not bad, huh? Want to make something new? You want to listen to some old? Y'all want to listen to some old? Something I made before? Or do y'all want to try something new? What you gonna do? So we said yes. Y'all want me to make something? Got any requests out there? Let's get on to some smooth. You know what I'm saying? That's smooth music. Kid jumped off the bridge, 25. Oh boy. Yeah. No, it gets started again. That was live. Kick it. I mean, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yo, I got the flu. I'm so sick out here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yo, 1, 2, 1, 2. Drop the beat on them. It's like this, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that, go back. It's like that, y'all. like this little joint. Talk to you later. I'm just gonna mess with this music. I'm just gonna do some music now. Grab something to eat first, though. Grab some tuna fish, but I'm gonna stay live. Why? Because I can. And who knows who's listening? Yo, my homie had this chick. My face is ridiculous. Kicking like chicken. Legs is kicking like chicken. Bow, 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 bow. I still got one person here. What's up? Just gonna make some music here. Bum 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 bum. So she said yes. Hit him with this. Yeah, I gotta go to the gym. Get some tuna fish. Chill. I'll be back. Chill song, ain't it? See if everybody left me. Oh, somebody's still here. Listen to the music. Or not. Jennifer sandwich. Let me tell you something about tuna fish sandwich. A tuna fish sandwich is so good. Make me want to say, Say, oh, yeah. It tastes all right, don't it? Say, oh, yeah. All right. Make it say, make one more. Make it say, oh, yeah. Good stuff. I knew this chick from the app. She kind of made me laugh. Little hot right there. It's a little hot. A little hot in the afternoon. The afternoon yet? No. That's just a little hot. You know, get you up like a boat. It's hot, man. One of my favorite beats, Styling. You know what it is? Tom. Yeah. I'll bring that old hot back. Tom. Yeah. That old hip hop. It's like this. It's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like... Song is banging, ain't it? I'm getting better at this producing thing. Or making beats. But now I'm gonna actually start producing. Like I gotta get into all this production stuff. Anyway, it's your boy Tone 202, man. God loves you. I'm out.